Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jakara, and I am a spiritual response practitioner. And I am here to talk about entities today. I want to talk about entities, and the reason why is because I particularly work with entities, both from the light and from the dark. And I'll let you know what that means. So stay tuned and watch until the end. So with spiritual response, we work directly with source, we work directly with spirit, with the energy of love. And when we think about the word entity, sometimes we attach some negativity to it because we think, oh my God, this is bad or good. We tend to cast a judgment upon these different sources of energy. So when we're looking at entities, I want to invite you, as you're watching this video, to stay open to the information I'm going to share, to really not cast a judgment upon the information I'm going to share, and try to see things from an Akashic perspective, from a heavenly perspective, right? So everything, if you look at for example, the yin yang, right? You see the circle, and it has both the light and the dark. It has the black and the white area. The black area has a little bit of white, and the white area has a little bit of black, and it's all encompassing into one circle. So that's really in a nutshell what the universe is about. The universe is about everything coming together into oneness. So it's important to remember that when we're looking at entities, especially when they're coming from the dark, doesn't mean that they're bad or they're evil or they're out to get us. They're just created exactly to do what they're supposed to do. They're created by the universe to teach us lessons, to push us to different levels of understanding, to help us understand what love is not, so we know what love is. So they have a sacred reason why they exist. So it's important to remember this whenever we are working in the spiritual realm, and try not to cast any judgment upon them, because they're just doing what they were created to do. So kind of like how I sometimes tell my fiance, we have cats, and we have 3 cats, and then sometimes we'll talk about like, oh, you think our cats will kill a mouse? And I'm like, yeah, cat's gonna cat, that's what they do. So it's the same concept, right? We expect the cat to go after the mouse. We know that they're not gonna go vegetarian or vegan anytime soon. It's the same thing, it's the same concept. So, okay, so looking back at the entities and how they affect us, of course, we wanna make sure that we are self-aware of what and how they show up in our lives. So the biggest thing that I would say that I found out, at least in my own experience, is that they work through emotions and also through negative thoughts. So negative emotions are almost like their food. That's their favorite food. Negative thoughts are as well. But I really want to pinpoint something really interesting, because this video was inspired by a client who was telling me how she was having these negative thoughts, and she knows that these negative thoughts were not hers. And she knows that she doesn't want to do anything negative. She doesn't want to hurt herself or hurt anybody, but she would continue having these thoughts, and she didn't know where they were coming from. So when I opened her records and I checked her energy field, I was able to find that she had entities attached. So and I knew it. I knew that there were entities attached because of the nature of what she was saying. She said, I'm typically a positive person, but then these intrusive thoughts are coming through, and I don't know where they're coming from. So if you're experiencing something like this, that means that could be an entity just having a feast with any of your negative emotions that you're experiencing at that moment. So that's one way that you can find out if you're dealing with entities. The other way that you can find out if you're dealing with entities is through negative emotions, and really self-regulating, like doing that self-regulation every day, and finding where we are at every day. So how do you even do this? Like, what does this even mean, right? So the best thing that I would recommend is to take a moment to meditate every day. So what I recommend my students is typically whenever I'm helping them navigate their heavy emotions, is that they start meditating in the mornings. Why in the mornings? Because in the mornings you're more, first of all, you're just waking up fresh from your time in the astral world, right? You're coming back into your center, and you have a better understanding of where you are at without any sort of influences from the outside. That's the reason why I really recommend that you do the meditations in the morning as soon as you wake up. And it doesn't have to be an hour meditation. It can be a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation where you do a self-scan from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your feet, and also right at your heart center, or your heart chakra center, which would be your chest area, and find out where you're at. So if you're feeling any restrictive energy, like you're feeling like, you know, like you're closed up, then that could potentially be that you're experiencing some sort of attachment, especially maybe if it's a one-off, not so much, but if it's something, for example, where you're experiencing it pretty much every day consistently, and you see that you're observing that you're there every day consistently, then that could potentially be an attachment, or it could also be a program. But we're not going to talk about programs today. So I really want to talk about the attachments, because I feel like that's something that's so common in the world, and I just want to teach you how to manage this. So if you feel this negativity constantly, then I'm going to recommend continue the meditations in the mornings. And then also journaling is a really great way to take, especially if you're having the negative thoughts, it's a really great way to take that energetic charge that they're inputting in your mind and put it down on a piece of paper, so that way it's no longer taking a hold of you. So those are two things. The next thing is that you want to work with Archangel Michael. I love working with Archangel Michael, because Archangel Michael is a great supporter of making sure that we are shielding ourselves, that we're protected. That he's really great at removing entities, and just like I ask Archangel Michael, so can you. You know, it doesn't, all you have to do is just ask. So in the spiritual realm, the archangels, the angels, the guides, our guides, they're not going to intervene in our path unless we take action. We have to be the ones who take the actions, because we are the creators of our lives. So you want to ask Archangel Michael, first of all, to remove any entities that are not serving your highest good from your auric field, from your energy field, and even ask from your mental field and emotional field, or even physical field. So you can go all the way through. And then the other thing that you can ask as well is to make sure that he applies a shield of protection around you, to make sure that the shield of protection goes down 7 feet down into the ground, to ground it into Mother Earth, and then all the way 7 times 7 around you, and 7 times infinity up onto Source. And that's going to create a beautiful shield of protection around you. Now, the next thing that you want to do is ask Archangel Raphael for healing. And the reason why is because I'm going to invite you to think about your auric field and your energy field. Imagine like this, it's like this beautiful bubble of energy around you. And what happens is that these attachments, when they get attached to our auric field or our energy field, they create tears on certain areas of our energy field. So what you want to do is that you want to ask Archangel Raphael, even if you don't know where the tear is, it's okay. Archangel Raphael, as long as you ask, please apply healing on any tears on my auric field and on my energy field. And then Archangel Raphael will apply the healing that needs to happen right there, and then close that back up. So those are the two archangels that I would work with whenever I'm dealing with entities, because again, the removal, the entity removal, and the protection, and then the healing are paramount for you to be able to feel that shift into a more positive spectrum of the energy field. So I hope that this makes sense to you. So going back to the process, first make sure that you meditate every day, that you do that self-regulation, that you figure out where you're at every day, so that way you can see if you're consistently feeling that negativity, then you can go into that space or saying, okay, maybe it's time for me to go ahead and ask Archangel Michael for an entity removal. And then the next thing that you can do is if you're dealing with the emotions, and if you're dealing with the negative thoughts, is to make sure that you write it down on a piece of paper, journal it out, so that way it's not bogging you down. Then asking Archangel Michael for light, shield, protection, entity removal, and Archangel Raphael for healing on any tears on your energy field and auric field. So I hope this you found this helpful. If you have any comments, any suggestions, maybe you work with entities as well, and you've also worked with entity removals, and you want to maybe just share some of what you do, make sure that you put it in the comments. I look forward to hear from my community. And also, if you have any suggestions on any videos that you would like me to record, or anything that you want me to talk about, I am open for those suggestions. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, that you like this video, and you share with somebody who might need to learn something new about entities today. And thank you, and namaste.